I call it my tank of giving. And it's psychologically proven because I've looked it up and read it, and we know everything that's on the internet is true. But here's how it kind of works for me. When I first get up in the morning, my tank of give a damn is as full as it's going to be. Throughout the day, every little decision, every little thing, everything that you do depletes that tank. So come 2 o'clock, when Cindy goes, well, John, I was thinking, which normally means, John, I've got a job for you. I'm going to look at her and I'm going to say, well, tomorrow's John will care more about that than 2 p.m. John. There's an actual technical term for it. It really
I need to know what it is, because I got that same thing. 10 o'clock and after, don't ask me. I don't got any energy for anything. You ask me at 5 a.m., I got all the answers. 4 o'clock, not so much.
Welcome to another week of the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast. I'm John Adams.
And I'm Crystal Nevadale.
And just wanted to bring you in on a conversation about procrastination. So let's talk about it. Because every single person listening right now, we know we've all done it, right? We've had something important to do, something that you know needs done, and then suddenly you decide that it's the perfect time to do something completely different. You're supposed to go and pick up the groceries. Well, I got to dust this. Or, you know what? Oh, shoot, I got to organize this drawer real quick. Or, you know what? I'm going to watch one quick video on my phone. And then 45 minutes later, you're doom scrolling your phone like you don't know what to do next, right?
Like it's your job, right?
Yeah, it's your job, or you owe it money or something, right? We all just keep doing that. And here's the weird part. Most of the time, we know we're doing it. We know that we're avoiding the thing, but we still do it anyway. So today, I just kind of want to unpack some of those things and talk about the interesting things of why we actually procrastinate. And it kind of goes into just how your brain is often trying to protect you, not really sabotage you. I've talked about it. I work out because I have to. I hate it. So 9 times out of 10, you know, when I'm getting ready, it's like going to the dentist for me. I feel like anxiety. So I'll find 50 other things to do first in hopes, my brain at least, in hopes that I'm not going to do it. So we just really want to dive into that today. First thing that we want to clear up, though, procrastination is not about laziness. Yes, we won't deny it. There's probably people out there who procrastinate because they're lazy, okay? But 9 times out of 10, it's not about laziness. It's literally because, let's just face it. I get it. Okay. Everybody out there screaming, yeah, but I know this lazy. I get it. Okay. There is lazy people out there, but 9 times out of 10, it's psychological. It's actually because we look at procrastination as this. It's an emotional regulation issue, right? You're fearing doing this. It's not always fear, but usually you're anxious.
It just feels
about
uncomfortable,
having to do it.
right? It just feels
right.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, so if you're getting into something that you really don't want to do, you're going to procrastinate about it. You're not lazy. It's just your body's way. It's a psychological way of protecting you, right? Your brain isn't avoiding the task. It's avoiding how the task makes you feel. So usually it's brought on by stress or overwhelm or uncertainty or the fear of failure. We can just straightforward call it that all day long because we all talk about this regularly, right? We don't start dieting. We don't start our new job. We don't start planning the thing that should be helping us fix our lives because we're afraid we're going to fail. We've talked about it multiple times on here. And on top of fear of failure, sometimes you might not 100% fail, but we all have that perfectionist thing, right? If I can't do it perfect, I'm not going to do it at all. Stop. You know, your brain is just playing tricks on you and you're letting it. And it's doing pretty much something clever. It's finding, you know, things that are easier to do right now. So you forget about that thing that you really don't want to do. So that's why suddenly you're not a person that always cleans the kitchen, but now suddenly cleaning the kitchen is so urgent. You got to get it done. Or checking those emails that you've let go for 3 days, but now suddenly, oh crap, I got to check these emails, right? At the end of the day, procrastination isn't avoiding the work. It's avoiding discomfort, right? So do you ever catch yourself in those situations, Crystal? I mean, I do a lot.
Yeah. I procrastinate at this time of the year every year because it's tax time. So it's kind of a stressful situation for me, getting the numbers in order. And once I sit down and do it, I don't know why I procrastinate, honestly, because
Yeah.
once it's done, it's like, but I do it every year. And I'm getting better and better at the time span of procrastinating. Like usually I start my taxes in January and I'm done like that first week in January. I let them go all the way till I just finished them last week. But what I did differently was I didn't think about them or worry about them. I knew I had all this time, and instead of wasting all this time and stressing myself out and doing it here, I just let it go. I enjoyed my time off, and then I did it. So, but yeah, I procrastinate that every single year.
You must be really good at bookkeeping, because I would be stressed the entire time knowing that the date is coming closer and closer. So that's something that I'm just learning. So, doing rideshare, doing the taxes is pretty simple. Your mileage handles a lot of it, right?
Right.
But now that I'm starting Amplify and starting my own business, and yeah.
Let me give you a word of advice, and this might help
Yes.
somebody else.
Sure.
So in the beginning, I saved every receipt, drove myself nuts, adding these receipts up, blah, blah, blah. Stop doing that. Go, if you don't get a monthly bank statement, go to your bank. They'll print you out for the entire year. Take different color highlighters, highlight the item, whether it's travel, expense, whatever it is. Highlight a different color, go through all 12 months of that. At the top of the paper, write out those things, and then you're done. You don't have to go through 9,000 receipts. If you have a business card, everything will be on there. So that's my one word advice. I wish someone would have taught me 13 years ago.
So I actually just got that advice. They said, open up a credit card. Doesn't have to have a large, depending on the biggest thing you're going to need to buy, but doesn't need to have a large max on it. And they said, take that credit card, and everything you buy it with that credit card. Because if you lose the receipt, you've got a year's worth of statement if you need it. And just
and
use
you
that
can do
one
it with
credit
your
card
bank
for everything.
statement. But you can use your bank statement. It doesn't even have to be a credit card. Like I have a debit card that's linked to my business account, and that's the one that I use for all the stuff. It's so simple. That will help a lot of people that are listening to this that are like stuck in like, do I want to start my own business? It's gonna be stressful. I'm not gonna be able to keep everything. It's a lot easier than it looks when you keep your bank statements and just use a highlighter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a big part that will help me a lot. Cause I'm very ADHD and OCD, and those two together can drive you nuts sometimes. So yeah, I'm going to definitely have to use those two pieces of advice. Because especially when it comes to procrastination, like I am probably the worst with that. And I'll tell you why. So mine's a little different, and I call it my tank of give a damn. And I don't know if you've ever heard that before, and it's psychologically proven because I've looked it up and read it, and we know everything that's on the internet is true. But here's how it kind of works for me. Okay. When I first get up in the morning, I am such a morning person that I need to do almost every single thing right away. I get up in the morning, my tank of give a damn is as full as it's going to be. And throughout the day, every little decision, every little thing, everything that you do depletes that tank. So come 2:00, when Cindy goes, well, John, I was thinking, which normally means, John, I've got a job for you. Here, I'm going to look at her and I'm going to say, well, tomorrow's John will care more about that than 2 p.m. John. Just letting you know. So we'll start it tomorrow morning. Now, here's the problem. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go straight to the store and we're going to paint the house, right? Or the room, my office. We're going to paint the office. I'm going to go first thing in the morning. I'm going to buy all the supplies. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to come home. I'm going to tape everything up and I'm going to get it done. It's just, I don't know why it's psychological. I know it is. And I've looked it up. I've read it. And there's an actual technical term for it. And I don't have it. And I wish I'd have put it in our show notes, but it really
I
goes.
need to know what it is, like, because I got that same thing. 10 o'clock and after, don't ask me. I don't got any energy for anything. You ask me at 5 a.m., I got all the answers. 4 o'clock, not so much.
That's the thing. So actually, it's decision fatigue is what they call it. Decision fatigue.
Okay.
And yeah, so basically what that is every single decision that you make, and it's from the small ones to the big ones. What you want to eat for breakfast, what you want to do at this time, the bill that you're going to pay, whatever it is, what clothing am I going to put on? That's why, and we've talked about it before, prepping things the night before is going to help save some of that tank of give a damn, because you don't have the decision fatigue because you did it the night before, right? So if you prepped your meals the night before, if you put your shoes by the front door, if you did those things, that's going to preserve some of that tank of give a damn, right? These are all things that I've had to do in order to, like we talked about it. I already hate working out. I get up first thing in the morning, and I was trying to work out in the morning, but then I have to get up even earlier. If not, I'm going to miss the rides that I need to get that are going to pay the most money, taking people to the airport. So I moved my workouts to the evening. So I have to preserve as much of that tank of give a damn as I can. So preparing things, having things ready, setting things up. The biggest gift that you've given me is the little, and I was doing it, but actually writing out the goals and having that drive, things that kind of preserve that tank. Because I'm just going to be honest, that tank empties pretty quick for me. But first thing in the morning, I'll do anything. I mean, if you want to clean the gutters, tell me first thing in the morning. Hey, I was thinking about, let's go. Let's do it right now. Get out of bed. Let's go. That's how I am. And I've been that way my entire life. And people hate it. You know, how can you get out of bed? Cindy hates it the most because she's a night owl. This is why we're the perfect couple. We're the yin and the yang. She's a night owl and I'm a morning person. Now, if you switched my wake and work hours, I could probably switch that around. But basically, whenever I wake up, I'm ready to rip and roar. And then 12 hours later, don't even tell me. I don't want to hear about it. Write it down, put a Post-it note, put it right next to my bedstand tomorrow morning. I will knock it out. But here's the best part. I want you to think about this. The problem with procrastination is this. Your mind, after you procrastinate with a task that you probably should have done in the first place, do you ever get it done? You don't, right? Because now tomorrow comes, unless you hit it right away first thing. Tomorrow evening comes and you're like, well, I should have done this yesterday. Dadgummit, you know what I mean? And you get frustrated, and now you're irritated that you didn't do it. So we do need to, probably both of us, and those little things help, but build that way to not procrastinate so much in the evenings. Because tomorrow morning, there's going to be other things that need to be done, and then things just pile up. And every time that you push it back, it just makes it easier to keep pushing it back because these other things need to get done first. But I've done that my entire life, and it's just a complete loop. You know, you avoid it, then you stress about it because I should have done it yesterday. And then now it's even a bigger task because I got the things I got to do today, and then more avoidance, and we keep doing that, right? And the longer it goes, I at one point in my life, and I wore the shirt out, Cindy bought me a shirt. It said, "Why do today what you can procrastinate about doing
John,
tomorrow?"
you're completely frozen. I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now? Okay, are you there?
Are you back? Yep.
I'm back. Okay. Let me put you back up on my screen. And yeah, me and Spectrum are gonna go round and round. We're definitely gonna go round and round. Brightspeed will be at my house. Give me 1 second. Let me just fix this so I can get you back up on my screen. So first things first. Let me do a little bash and love session at the same time. Spectrum, you suck. Riverside is the only reason right now that I am able to do this podcast. If it wasn't for the amazing people at Riverside, me and you could not finish this podcast. I will promise you by our next recording, I will have Brightspeed and Spectrum can pound salt. This issue should not be happening. And when you pay for gig speed from Spectrum and you can't even upload a podcast, there's a problem. So if you are listening to this episode and you know anybody from Spectrum, please share this with them. I would love for them to reach out to me because I would love to tell you how much you suck.
John, that's not nice.
Well,
You can't say that on TV. You can't say that on TV.
Listen, it might not be nice, but listen, I can't imagine that I'm the only person dealing with this.
I have to agree. You're probably correct.
I try to be as glass half full as possible. I really do. But if I was recording with any other platform besides Riverside right now, we'd be screwed. But going back to where we were at on my shirt that I've tried to talk about a couple times. Can you still hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Cindy bought me this t-shirt a while back, and I wore it out so bad that literally I don't even own it anymore because it wore off. But it said, "Why do today what you can procrastinate about doing tomorrow?" Because she knows. Yeah, because again, she's such an evening person and our schedules kind of mess that up. And come 3:00 in the evening, her energy kicks in and she's like, "Hey, I was thinking," again, which means, John, I've got a job for you. And I'll just tell her straightforward. Tomorrow morning's John will care so much more. Write it down. We'll get it taken care of. But I have tried to work on this, right? Because, life doesn't always work the way you want it. And you gotta, grow and you gotta change. And sometimes you got to figure out how to fix things, even though you think that my way works. And I love the fact that I'm a go person in the morning, but sometimes you need to get things done in the evening, right? And we don't solve that procrastination thing with extreme discipline or beating ourselves up. We solve it with awareness and small shifts, just like we do with anything in our lives, right? The small shifts that saved my life, the small shifts that you use. Those are the same things that I use to try to fix my largest procrastination piece. And sometimes the solution isn't simple and sometimes it's kind of simple, right? Same thing I've kind of been doing, do the task early in the day as soon as you get up, right? When that energy's high, whatever the task is, I try to put it on my to-do list for the very next morning. So that way I knock it out. You break it into small pieces and you get it done. But here, and let me throw this to you. How many times, Crystal, have and you admitted that you have kind of the same problem that I have. So let's discuss this because this is kind of a deep thing. Have you ever noticed that tank of give a damn, that energy level, we've already admitted come somewhere between 10 and 2 is gone. And if you want to start a project, you're never going to do it at that time. But how? Emily says at 11 o'clock, "Hey, let's do this." And you're like, "Can we do this tomorrow?" Right? Okay. So we've discussed the fact that at a certain point in our day, procrastination really kicks in. But first thing in the morning, we're ready to rip and roar. But now if we start that project first thing in the morning, come 9 o'clock at night, we're still doing that project. We still have the same energy level that we started the morning with. But if we started it later, we'd never have that energy. So where does that disconnect come in? You see what I'm saying? Because I've done it a million times.
I think it's just the excitement. you're just doing something you're enjoying. Like you're excited to get it done. Like it's a whole process. I mean, you started
So,
early when you had the energy, you don't lose it as much. And I feel like mine is about making decisions. I don't
mhm,
want to figure out what's for dinner. I don't want to figure out what I'm wearing tomorrow. I don't that my procrastination is there. Like if she says, "Hey, let's go do something," or "Can we start this?" I'm all about. I don't mind that.
yeah,
It's like the I don't want to make the decisions. Like, what are
yeah.
we doing tomorrow at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.? Don't know, don't care, not making that decision. So that's my problem. Once I'm done with my workday, like I've made a
Yeah.
million decisions,
Yep.
my decision maker's broke.
Yeah.
So mine
So I
really isn't
wish
like a procrastination of
yeah.
things. It's
Yeah.
that. No
Yeah, mine is a
decisions.
procrastination of things for sure. And I wish it was a procrastination of not wanting to make the decision because actually, no, I don't. Let me rephrase that. No, I don't. Let's go off topic again. On topic, but off topic. I can't tell you. I wish that I could write a book on this because I guarantee that there's 50 other people out there that would go, wait a minute, I could have wrote that same book because I've lived this. But I can't tell you how many times me and Cindy, we will be, she's not going to make something at home. We're going to go out to eat. Where do you want to go? I don't care. Where do you want to go? I don't care. Where do you want to? Well, just pick something. Okay, well, let's go get Don Tequila's. I don't want Don Tequila.
Emily has a thing for this. She said, listen, this is so hilarious. She said, when you give me an option and I pick one, then you really realize that you do have an opinion. You want the other thing.
Right.
I was like, wow, that really makes sense. So
It is so this here. So there was an episode of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon wants to get either the Xbox or the PS4, whatever it was. Anyway, and he can't decide. So his girlfriend or whatever, Amy, she says, well, here, flip a coin. Heads is the Xbox, tails is the PS, and whatever it lands on, if you're excited, then you know that's the one you wanted. If you're upset, then you know which one you want too. That's that exact thing that you just said. If I give you
yeah,
two options, but again, I just wish that Cindy would just go pick because at the end of the day, she's going to say, I don't know. What do you want? Well, I don't know what you want. Well, just pick. And then you pick. She doesn't want that. So apparently you know what you want.
oh God, this is so funny because I literally just 3 days ago had the same conversation about food. Same exact.
But, and again, that does go into the whole decision fatigue. Like, that's kind of probably why I don't want to make the decision because I'm going to be wrong. Just tell me what you want. So
Right.
to anybody listening right now, if you have those discussions, just say it. Hey, I'm thinking this because inevitably you're thinking of something. You just don't want to say it because you don't think part of that fear. But I was thinking of this right before we went off on this little tangent and you were talking about, how when you get going, you don't have because you're excited and you're in it, right? Once you've started.
Right.
Again, that goes way back to what we've been talking about this whole time through all these episodes. Starting is the hardest part. Once you start, it just goes. So there's your procrastination solution right there. It's the same thing with the fear. It's the same thing with all of that, right? We don't want to start. Once you get started, the momentum builds, things keep going, the growth happens, the room gets painted, it's all starting. We just need to start. For me, procrastination is kind of an excuse, but get me in the morning, I'm going to start every time. Once your brain kind of crosses that starting line, though, momentum just takes over. And that's the hardest part. Like I said, we've talked about it so many times. It's beginning the process, right? So here's another truth. Sometimes procrastination isn't about the energy either. We just kind of hit that, right? It's the fear of starting. It's the fear of not being good enough. It's the fear of failing. It's the fear of doing something imperfect. We've talked about that so many times. So we already know that you have that tank of give a damn. You already know that kind of runs out at a certain point. We got to try to remove some of these hurdles because you've already got these other hurdles of the fear of starting and all of that stuff. So it just keeps snowballing, either in a bad way or a good way. One of the biggest things that I think, and why when you start the process, it's so much easier to still be going at it at 9 o'clock or for your life or whatever, action shrinks that fear, but avoiding it just feeds the fire and just keeps
And it
it
also
growing.
builds confidence
100%.
every
Because
time that you're doing that.
every time. And that's why I love the small things, because if you're trying to conquer a huge thing, it's so much harder to get that confidence. But if you conquer the small things, okay, I'm going to paint this office. I don't know how to paint. Okay, well, where do we start? Let's try this. Okay, are you good at, taping, whatever? The small things will build up to build that confidence. And every time you build that confidence, you go right back to the dopamine thing. You get that little shot of dopamine, which is going to make you, okay, well, let me try this. At the end of the day, let's just start. Procrastination is 9 times out of 10 a fear of starting. If we can just get over the scientific backed thing of the tank of give a damn. But again, my biggest thing that I use to get over that is I try to prep everything now. I try to, those guitar out of the case moments are so huge for me. Putting the shoes by the front door, all of that stuff. Because without it, come 2 o'clock, I'm done, so I've got to prepare. I've got to make sure that, when I'm going to work out in the evenings, I got to have everything lined up. So there's no reason why I won't, or I just won't. So I challenge everybody to do those small things to make it so easy to not procrastinate.
I want you to think back 10 years ago. And I'm going to think back 10 years ago for myself, when we didn't even put 1 and 2 together to know why we were emotionally charged in one way or the other with procrastination or anything that we do. Like, I was thinking about this, like, to be self-aware is so important. Like, that's where I feel like you and I really do connect. Like, we're both in that stage of being self-aware and even noticing these things. But do you remember back when you just were emotional and didn't understand why you were feeling all those ways? They were just like, you didn't know how to figure it out. You had no idea. And then it was just like one day you woke up and you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And I just wanted to bring that up because I know there are people that are starting to listen to us that are not self-aware. They're learning. They're hearing these things. And I just want it to be known, like, it takes so long to even learn to be self-aware. In my 30s, I had no idea. I was just like flying by the seat of my pants and hoping for the best, And now in my 40s, like, I'm starting to look at things and trying to connect them and trying to find out what I need to get better at and what I need to focus on and what's not important. And it's such a juggling act.
Yeah. It's such a juggling act because and that's why, and I hope that the people that have been listening to us have noticed that, especially bringing you on, and that was my whole purpose for needing a co-host, is I can be more vulnerable. I got to the point when I was doing this that I sometimes felt like people felt, well, John's holier than thou, and I'm not. Listen, I'm very self-aware now, but I'm not perfect. I'm still human. Those scars are there, and I've got the lessons, but you just dealt with a situation, right? Where if you didn't have the tools in your tool belt that you've built over time, would have went so much different. Again, like you just said, think 10 years back, going through that situation, how you'd have dealt with it, right? So same thing with me. We're always going to struggle. The world that we live in today, we've lived in this world forever. The only difference between now and 20 years ago is these stupid things, right? But at the end of the day, one thing that I want every person that listens to us to understand is you have to get to that point of self-aware. But even when you get there, life is not going to be perfect. But the things that you
Ever.
do that prepare you, once you get these little things, these in your tool belt, these small things that we talk about on a regular basis, and you get them it's going to make those times so much easier to deal with. You're still going to have to deal with them. Life isn't going to be perfect. You're still going to have angry times. You're still going to have times when you just, but that's when you got to go back to, your breathing, go back to your self-meditation, go back to, guided meditations, go back to just stop, think, put on a podcast, sit down, slow down, breathe, reach out to somebody that you trust, reach out to somebody that can, bring you back to that inner peace. Those little tools, all these little tools that you can build and put into your tool chest that will make all of those moments so much better. And
so something happened to me recently. So I'm a very emotional person, right? And this particular day I had all of these plans, and I'm not a plan maker. Okay. So when I make plans, it's really important to me. Okay. So I make all these plans and I'm excited to go on this adventure, and the adventure starts 2 hours late. Right. So then I am all stressed out because now I'm not going to get to X, Y, and Z in time, blah, blah, blah. Right. So at that point, I'm angry. I'm saying things I probably shouldn't say, not, terrible things, but I'm mad. Right. And Emily says to me, nothing that you're saying is in love. And I mean, it stopped me dead in my tracks. And it made me whoa, why are you mad? So little, I'm learning, in new relationships, friendships, relationship, you can't see yourself until you see yourself in someone else. That's a lot of healing. So that was a pivotal moment for me recently, but that's what we're talking about is constant growth. You're constantly learning, and the people that you surround yourself with will help you and guide you and show you the pieces of you that need help and need work. But that was super deep. And one more thing, I know this is off topic too. So this is really important too. I'm learning so much in this relationship. So my relationship, usually I'm making sure everybody else is okay, right? I'm looking for what's better for them. So I'm in this situation. Emily asks if I would like her to stay in the situation with me. And I say, no, it's you go ahead and do what you need to do. I'm fine. I could finish this. And her response was, it's not putting me out by staying here. It's what I want. And this is deepening our situation. And I'm telling you, this kind of stuff, that is from being a people pleaser for myself and taking care of everybody else's needs, and having someone come to say, hey, your needs are important too. I'm really feel like I'm opening up and learning so much about myself. But without another human to reflect that, I would never be able to heal those pieces of me that are deep down and scarred and hurt. So yeah, I had to share those too, because those were deep things that happened in the last week or so that really hit me in my healing.
So that is such an amazing thing right there, because here, think about this. There's an old saying that you never stop learning, right? And the moment you think you know it all, you're probably going the wrong direction. So this is why I love this, okay? And having you as a co-host and having just, somebody to bounce things off of, because I'm learning constantly. You're learning constantly. You're learning from Emily constantly. Cindy's teaching me. We all need to take things in and learn and grow every single day. I believe that to be the best person that you can be, the best Crystal, the best John, the best whoever's listening, it's constant growth and it's constant awareness of your growth. And that's such a huge piece. And I actually jotted that down to close out this episode, because so that's actually perfect. I mean, it kind of ties everything up, because at the end of the day, whether it's procrastination or whatever, the key isn't perfection. It's awareness. It's 100% awareness. And
Absolutely.
that's the strongest thing that you can have. And we all get in those moments of feelings, right? More than not, I've been there. Been there, done that. Not on the podcast, but we'll have some conversations. I could tell you some doozies. But it's the awareness piece that has brought me to where I'm at today. I should not be here today. I should not. And through these growth moments, and me and Cindy were talking about it the other day, when I said something that kind of caught her off guard, and she's like, where'd that come from? It was in a good way. And I said, because Cindy, I'm working on things. Like personally, I've worked on my inner self so much. Now I'm working on my outward self, if that makes sense. It's a whole new journey for me. So I'm trying to work on how I communicate, because I do, like, you get in your feels sometimes. And we had not a disagreement, but a discussion. And the way I came back, she wasn't used to. She was like, wow, okay, where did that come from? Because it was a good thing, right? So I'm working on that too. So I just want to piggyback off of that awareness piece is just huge, right? So let's wrap up for this episode. I think that we've hit on a lot of fun things, and we went off topic a lot, but I think that this was meant for some people. So what I want everybody to ask themselves tonight is, what's one thing that you've been putting off? Whether it's just been procrastinating about it, or you've just been fearing starting it, whatever that is, what can you do? What's one step that you can take, one small step forward to just start that, right? I want you to start there, because progress isn't built on motivation. It's built on movement. That's why spaces that slow you down matter. At Crystal's Treasure Box, they're built around that idea. A place where you can step away from the noise for a moment, reset your mindset, and just talk with her and learn about the things that she's built there. And remember that life doesn't have to be rushed to be meaningful. Sometimes clarity comes when you simply slow down. So stop by Crystal's Treasure Box in Vermilion, Ohio, and find that little thing that you've been looking for. And if you're a creator or an entrepreneur listening, procrastination shows up in your business too, way more than it ever should. Not starting the report that you should be starting, not launching the project, or not finishing the idea. But most of the time, it's not because you lack discipline. It's because the process feels overwhelming. That's why through Amplify, we've helped creators build simple systems that remove friction, systems that reduce decision fatigue. And that's why the processes become clear, and you can take action, and those actions become so much easier, because the less your brain has to figure out, the more that it can focus on creating. Procrastination isn't proof that you're lazy. Most of the time, it's just your brain trying to manage stress, fear, or mental overload. But the good news is this: momentum starts small. One step, one task, and one decision. And once you start moving, the mountain gets a lot smaller. And as always, stay healthy,
Stay balanced.
and keep driving forward. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.